Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with 8 estate and letting agents who have left Rightmove in the last 12 or 18 months. And I'm going to ask them what effect that's had on their business, and take it from there. So first up, I would like to ask James Fielding. James, tell me a bit about your agency and when you left Rightmove.
I left Rightmove a few years ago. I went over to Zoopla, and we're a small business, owner managed, but we've been trading well in this guise for just over 5 years. I believe we've done very well. We've got, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's probably just under 200 managed properties. I've got no compunction at all about leaving Rightmove. It didn't do me any harm at all.
When did you leave?
Why?
When?
I'd say probably about three and a half years ago.
Okay, so from zero, you've got 200 managed properties in 5 years, and 3.5
Yep.
years ago you left Rightmove.
Yeah.
What portals have you been on since?
I use Zoopla, which I'll be honest, I don't get an awful lot from. I don't think anybody does. I've had on the market while it was a freebie. I wouldn't pay for it. I mean, it's fairly useless, but obviously in terms of being able to say to landlords, you know, we're on XYZ portals, it looks good.
So how exactly do you get your properties away if Zoopla and on the market, you're off on the market now, are you?
Well, we're still on the market because it's a freebie. They don't ever cancel the account, but yeah, it's mostly Zoopla's what we do. How do we let them? We don't have any problem at all letting properties. As long as it's the stuff we want, which is mass market, either ex-council houses, 1-bedroom flats, 2-bedroom modern houses, 3-bed semis, no problem at all. They fly out the door. Most of our stuff goes, we list everything on Facebook. We'll put on their stuff we've got as coming soon with people, although it's slowed down recently for coronavirus bullshit, but we normally would get 5 or 6 speculative calls a day. I'm not even joking when I say this, but up until recently, half the time we didn't even need to do viewings with people coming in wanting to pay a deposit based on the photos. We're an area of really, really good demand, so letting properties wasn't an issue. Sorry?
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Daventry, just outside Northampton.
Okay.
So that's not been an issue at all. The only thing obviously we'd like more of would be landlord inquiries. But however much Rightmove, Zoopla or anyone else promise you them, you don't get them that way. You know, we get most of our business, I think, comes from recommendation and referrals. But so yeah, letting's not a problem. It's always a quest for landlords. But I don't think any portal can give you that.
Do you think that you could probably drop on the market in Zoopla and still be as successful renting the properties out?
Yeah, no problem.
So why haven't you done that?
We're on Zoopla because as a letting agent, you're expected to list on a portal, and Zoopla is several £100s a month cheaper than Rightmove was. I fell out with Rightmove. I didn't like how they were doing things. I gave them a fairly robust response. And moved over to Zoopla. But a landlord, despite the fact we don't really get much from it, a landlord will still say, oh, well, what do you list your properties on? So we need to be able to say we list them on something. And Zoopla is, well, it is what it is. I'd say we obviously let the odd one from there. We get inquiries through from it. But if we pulled Zoopla, I don't think it would be the end of the world. Our social media, Facebook and direct links to our website, I mean, that works wonders.
Okay, guys, has anyone got any questions for James before we move over to Sammy? Okay, let's talk to Sammy. Sammy, where's your agency, my friend?
Hello, guys. So we are based in central Birmingham, area called Harborne. It's about 3 miles from the centre. Quite a nice area full of doctors and big hospital. So and there's uni as well. It's quite a big stream of people looking to rent and buy.
Okay, and are you predominantly lettings focused, sales focused, or somewhere in the middle?
So we focus our energy on both, but we are predominantly lettings. So we've got a big name for lettings. We've got a portfolio of about 120 but the rents are quite high around here, so it pays okay. Sales, there's a few independents in the area that get all the sales stock, but bit by bit, hopefully we can chip away at that. But yeah, mainly lettings at the moment.
Okay, so when did you drop Rightmove and why?
So I gave notice to Rightmove at the end of November last year. I waited for a 2-month notice period, so I had to do December and Jan, just because I wanted to get through those months, and then I came off then basically. And the reason why is because I tried to negotiate on their fee, and they were having none of it, absolutely none of it. And we were in the office, we were checking where the converted leads came from, not the leads, where they converted from. And we found Zoopla were converting more leads than Rightmove in our area. And since leaving Rightmove, we haven't noticed much different. But they're the main reasons. It's always cost, trying to drive down my overheads, so give a little bit of breathing space for us. And then they wouldn't negotiate on that at all. So I just said, I'm off.
How many of you guys have actually sat down and physically gone through every let or sale in the last 12, 18 months and seen where the leads come from? Because talking to the industry, that's quite a rare thing. Kathy, what when did you leave? Oh,
mid-May last year.
Okay, and what made you leave?
Just to be honest with you, I'm probably the smallest agent of you guys. In fact, I'm positively guarantee I am. I'm very bespoke. I only work with about 1, 2, 3, possibly max clients a month, and have built the portfolio up over about 2.5 years. I've been in a position where I had a very, very big agency with 5 branches and a lot of managements, and don't want to go back there, to be brutally honest with you. But I was finding, I had a couple of letting agent friends in Bristol where I trade, and what was happening was I was actually listing more properties for them on Rightmove than I was listing my own. And I look at the costs and look at the figures. That was my biggest cost every month. So I looked at Zoopla and I thought I'll give it a go. So I gave Rightmove notice, give it a go, and haven't looked back.
And when did you, remind me, when did you give notice to Rightmove?
I gave notice to Rightmove about the end of April last year, and I was on Zoopla by about mid-May.
Okay, so you're predominantly a letting agent.
100%, yes.
What has it had any detrimental effect on your business?
No, nothing.
Have you had any landlords say, I don't want to use you because you're not on Rightmove?
No. I had one who got a little bit huffy-puffy with me about it, and I said, well, you're wanting to have a really, really individual bespoke service. You want to be completely looked after. You want to do it on a very one-to-one basis. That's fine, but basically I don't use Rightmove and I don't have a problem letting properties. Do you want to use my business or not? And he did in the end. So, and he's off happily in France now, getting his rent every month, being looked after. But no, I've spoken to people on the phone and it's, do you use Rightmove? And it's been all about the fees. So I've just come to the conclusion they're the wrong fit for my business.
Okay. Anyone got any good stories about the account managers with Rightmove? We'll come on to not so good in a second. Anyone got any good stories about the motivation they've had? Lee, what
Oh, sorry, good story. Good
story.
Stories as regards how good they are, or what they've done to retain our business.
Well, both. I want to understand the attitude of local account managers in your decisions. And we'll start with you, Lee, and then we'll work round.
Okay, perhaps not so good then, actually. We left, we're Bradgate Lettings based in Leicestershire. We cover anything with an LE postcode, be it to Warwickshire, etc. We've been going just over 26 years now, and we're quite selective on what we do. We manage just short of 700 properties, and we're lettings only. So we left Rightmove 2 years ago, this June actually, after supporting them from, well, God knows when. £75 a month, I think, was our first fee to Rightmove, which was in the dim and distant past. We left, say, 2 years ago this June. I had my first call from our account manager last September to say, oh, I see you've left. so 18 months later. And it was pretty much, I bet you found it tough, haven't you, isn't it, time you came back? And we had a full and frank conversation about their performance, their as a slightly different business. We're based locally in a small village just to the Coventry side of Leicester, but a large part of our portfolio is down the M69 in the centre of Leicester, and they have this funny trick of, you pay for an office, which is where your office is, but if you have so many properties, I think it's 40% of your properties outside of your chimney pot location, then you're classed as a national agent, virtual office, and you have to pay twice. So instead of paying one fee for Rightmove, they were pushing us for a long, long time to say, you've got to pay twice. And we resisted, and they never really wanted to do it, never really forced it through. But then March last year, the letter dropped on the doormat. Aren't we great? We're doing really well. We're getting you more leads. There's a 17% increase in your fee. Oh, by the way, you'll now start to pay in 2 months for your virtual office. So effectively doubled our fee pretty much overnight.
So how much,
and we just said that's enough.
How much were they proposing for you to pay then?
So it was a 17% increase on our normal fee, and then doubling for a second office. So ours would have been around about 1,200 quid plus VAT per month, which was just obscene, absolutely obscene. So we'd been on the market since their inception as a freebie, and then we started to pay, I think it was about 100 quid a month. And to be fair, like Sammy, we use Zoopla as well. I'd have to say in the Midlands, Zoopla on the market have got a reasonable traction actually. I would say when we did our exercise before we'd been Rightmove, I would say 50% of the leads from Rightmove were already covered by Zoopla on the market. Perhaps I would say 40% of that time Zoopla, 10% on the market. And the rest were either unique to Rightmove or unique to the other two. We let, on average, between 25 and 35 properties a month. With the number of properties we've got, we've always got somebody moving out, and we've always got stuff to get away. We haven't seen a drop-off in that until perhaps this last couple of weeks, although we're changing what we're doing as regards virtual viewings and stuff. We've not done Facebook, and I'm intrigued by that. That's something I'll be looking at because I've got a bit of time working from home at the minute. And we've got to sort of promote our own website wherever we can. But I think Zoopla in our area is good. It works for us.
Okay, James, you use Facebook. Do you just whack the properties out on your own Facebook? Is that how it works?
No, not my own one. We've got a business page set up. Well, if you follow it, you will have seen I refuse to take business particularly seriously, and I do use it to project, I think, our personality and what we feel on it. So people who really aren't even interested in letting properties follow our page. So whatever reason, we've got traction. There's about 1,000 likes on it, about 1,100 people follow it. If we list a property on it, I've got this coming up, I'll put a link through to Zoopla on it, but it normally gets 4 or 5 shares. And again, if you do things like, we've got a massive East European community around here, and we're really well known, really well respected, particularly by Romanians and Moldavians. And we put a post for a property and in, say, one of the Romanian groups. So we did this yesterday. And as a result of that, I've had 4 inquiries come in. Now, those inquiries, they may have come via Zoopla because I put the link on there, but they're all Romanian, all with them IU email addresses. And that is where we'll have come from. You can time it. You know, the post goes on at 6:30, and by 7 o'clock, you've got 4 leads from Romanians after you've posted in the Romanian group. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work it out.
I mean,
Facebook's good.
There's a huge tip, is where I think a lot of people go wrong with Facebook, is that they put it on their own feed and then expect people to come to you. You've got to go where
it doesn't work. But you can't just put pictures of properties on. Yeah, you look at some agents and it's their Facebook page is absolute crap. There's a property, and expect you to like and share it. It's like running up to someone in the street, go, "Do you want to rent a house?" No, you don't. You don't do it. You put something on, you engage them, etc. You get people to follow it. You put on articles, funny stuff, general news, whatever else. Bam, there's a property. people might follow it for whatever other reason. They go, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, my auntie so-and-so's daughter's looking for somewhere. Tag them in. And the response we got on Facebook has been fantastic. We push the envelope with some of the stuff we put on there. But I think certainly in terms of making yourself different from the other agents, which we are, our whole attitude's very, very different. We project that on there as well. I mean, none of our staff wear suits. We don't open at 9 and finish at 6. It's as and when we need to be there. If we've had people come into the office and give us problems, I've got no problem at all. Excuse my language. Like, fuck off, get out. I'm going to call the papers. Absolutely fine. You do that. It's you're blunt, you're direct. We engage people, and Facebook works really, really well. So if we didn't have Zoom, we didn't have on the market, as long as we can put them somewhere, even if it's a link on our own site, if we have that built, then it wouldn't be a problem to me.
Okay, Manoj, you're red hot at Facebook with your son Pesh.
Yeah.
And you're really good at your content as well, mixing it up. Tell us a bit about how Facebook has affected your business that has enabled you to come off Rightmove.
Well, we did all the initial stuff that I suppose all of you have done in the past before coming off Rightmove. We did the analysis and the cost benefits, and actually it was the extortionate prices, the price increases. I think I saw an almost doubling of subscription cost over a 5-year period, which about 87% increase.
Okay, putting emotion aside, guys.
Yeah.
We when I were a lad, we were spending 300 quid 20 years ago on a newspaper advert. So that's 1,500 quid in a month in old money, which is 2.5 grand in today's money.
But Chris, with a newspaper, you've got a physical product, and therefore you can justify a price. There's a raw material cost. With Rightmove, it's just data space. It's space in the bloody cloud. And unless they're adding value and continuing to innovate and increase their product offering to us, the customer, they can't justify price increases at the numbers that they were doing.
Okay, but
there is no raw material going in. The raw material is our product. We're putting our stuff in there.
Price is irrelevant if value is being caused. I mean, how many properties have you got under management?
About 250.
Okay, so when did you drop Rightmove?
We dropped Rightmove the end of 2018, and we portal hopped a little bit as well as we found our feet. But in the end, especially with On The Market coming along, we also, because On The Market came before we dropped Rightmove, so we jumped on The Market, we ditched Zoopla. We then decided, after analysing the leads coming in, and we were doing social media as well, lots of social media, and we said that when we hit a 50% conversion point away from Rightmove, we will ditch Rightmove. So when we did that, we ditched Rightmove straight away. We were monitoring all the conversions from where they were coming in. As soon as Rightmove was supplying less than 50%, they were gone.
Okay.
And so we're getting our conversions from, at the moment, from Zoopla, On The Market, and all our social media. We're also getting loads of we're getting landlord inquiries as well from social media and from the blogs, all the articles we write. We're getting at least 4-5 properties a month coming in, new properties.
What? Because you're writing about the Warrington property market and attracting landlords in. I know. And
we're getting landlords. We're getting investors from all over the UK and outside investing in the area, and they're buying property and passing them straight to us to manage. They're investing in the area.
Articles about the Harborne property market. It's all about attracting landlords. I think a lot of agents see Rightmove's job as to also not only find tenants and buyers, but also find properties supply side, which I think is totally irrelevant. You need to be doing other stuff.
We do so we do all the social media, but we're also we're now also doing 360 videos. Where we can do video walkthrough, 360 loop around through properties and things, and we're doing that for our rentals as well. And we've just started on sales. we probably had about 20 or so instructions for sales over the last 6 months.
Okay, Sammy, you're pretty good at sales. Have you not been beaten up by leaving Rightmove?
Well, we've been off Rightmove now for what, 2 months really, and every property we've listed since we've been off Rightmove we've sold. And the latest video we're creating for social media is we're challenging a landlord to take our services without a portal. So no Rightmove, no Zoopla, no on the market, just Facebook. We've employed a videographer in-house to create videos for us, like quite nice videos. And we're going to create video, I'll take great photos, market it on our website, and then just boost it and advertise it on Facebook and see what happens. The last house we sold, basically we had more inquiries through Facebook than a Zoopla.
So really, you could almost say that, do you necessarily need a portal? That's
what I want to try it. Obviously, you don't know until you ask your clients. So are you willing to have a reduced fee for be a guinea pig for us and just check out and try out if it works without a portal? We're very, very close to that. I'm also given notice to Zoopla. Now, at the end of this month, my aim was to portal juggle, as Manaj was saying, find out which one would work. But because of what's happened with Rightmove and Zoopla the last day, and obviously with the corona, I may not need a portal for a month. So I might be using my Facebook and my website to market everything.
What we've got to remember, guys, is that Rightmove was invented because people are on the internet. But nowadays, people are on this and their eyeballs are on Facebook. I would actually say, I mean, I've been talking to people in the last 6-12 months, and the only thing that frightens Rightmove I've heard was Facebook.
Yeah, it should be. It should be frightening them.
It's where everyone's eyeballs are, especially the older generation, because they're looking after their grandkids, and everyone wants to know what's happening in the world. Maria from Cambridgeshire, when did you drop Rightmove?
We dropped Rightmove in April last year.
So that's April 19. Tell us a bit about your agency and how big you are, whether you're lettings or sales.
So we are lettings only. We are based in Ely, just outside Cambridge, although we cover Cambridge as well and Newmarket from here. We run about 300 properties and have been trading for 6 years this August.
Not bad. Good.
So I had worked the local area for about 18 years before that, and only started my own lettings agency because the prior independent that I worked for at director level was bought out by Countrywide.
That's going well, isn't it? What effect of dropping Rightmove on getting new business for you, and also getting the properties away?
None whatsoever at all. Before we made the decision, in the 6 months that led up to the decision, we did our figures, we checked conversion rates and where they were coming from. I think because of where we're located, a lot of what we do is kind of London runoff as well, and in London, Zoopla for lettings is well regarded, and I think that's helped us here too. But we've seen no difference whatsoever, other than the fact that our spend is obviously massively down.
And no landlords have kicked back at you?
We've had the odd one inquire as to why we're not on Rightmove, but some of these guys have worked with me for 15 years apiece. So as far as they're concerned, you know, if I can reason it out with them, then they're quite happy with that. To be honest with you, we've normally let them before they have chance to even realise or object.
Isn't it interesting that we're all able to persuade our vendors to come off newspaper advertising, yet we're finding it really difficult to get our vendors to not be obsessed about Rightmove?
Yeah. I actually think we had more kickback from memory way back when in the sands of time that was a thing. I think we had more kickback then to not being in a paper than we've had to coming off of Rightmove.
So who are you with at the moment?
So we list with Zoopla and On the Market. We've been with On the Market since inception, even though we get leads from them that convert, but I wouldn't say it's as strong as Zoopla at this point. But here it's a case of you could have Zoopla or you could have Rightmove. The difference is I pay a quarter for Zoopla than what I was paying for Rightmove.
Okay, but if we're all going to Zoopla here and everyone drops Rightmove, surely we're going to create another monster called Rightmove Mark II. Any thoughts, anyone?
Absolutely.
Put your hands up if you want to say something. Sammy first.
Yeah, I totally agree. Zoopla played a really big card with what they've just done. They're trying to get everyone off Rightmove with a massively attractive package. But they'll just put the prices up. They emailed me in December and put the prices up. They emailed me on an email address haven't used for like 8 years. And that's their evidence of how they told me I was going to pay more. So that was one of the reasons why I left them as well. I think Facebook or some sort of social media is the future. I don't think we need portals forever. There's going to be a transition period for the next year, maybe 2, while people get their head around it. But eventually there'll be no need. Like what you said earlier, before it was all on the papers, and now Rightmove is 10 years old. The concept of a portal is so old, it has to change. It's got to evolve into something else. It's a no-brainer, really. It will evolve, and I think one of the social medias will be the winner. We don't know which one yet, but one of them will win for sure.
James, you put your hand up there.
I agree with Sammy. I mean, I agree with what you said. Yes, I think we are potentially creating that monster in the form of Zoopla, but also you would hope that Zoopla will take on board what I am hoping is about to happen to Rightmove, and obviously, next time there's a mass revolt. But I do think it is going to move away from the portals. There's always going to be a way of listing the property, and as long as you could drive people to that, it doesn't matter if it's on Rightmove, it doesn't matter if it's on Zoopla or on the market. At the moment, it's social media that's doing it. 10 years down the line, what we're going to have instead, technology is moving at an amazing rate, so we might all be listing stock on something that we've not even thought of yet, So
yeah,
I'm not too fussed. I mean, I'd walk if Zoopla tried to do what Rightmove did. I'd walk away. I'll get if on the market are cheaper. I have to pay for it. I'd pay to be on the market just to put them somewhere. Ultimately, if I had to, I'd pay someone to go and build me a website where I can just load my own stock on it and have it from them, promoting it myself.
Okay, Lee, you got something to say?
Yeah, we've got a locally. My wife's got a neighbourhood sort of Facebook area where, and there's loads of those around our city now. WhatsApp groups for different things. I think that's probably where your focus is going to be in the future. Facebook's going to continue to grow, I'm sure, but I think WhatsApp groups for multiple people in areas, I think that's going to be another market. And again, the corona stuff where we're probably going to have a bit of time on our hands at some point. I think that's the time to really investigate these and put a few feelers out in those areas and see what comes back, because there's always somebody looking for a property in a community, and if you can target them that way, you save some money, I suppose.
I will just go to Manoj in a second, and then we'll go to Kathy. But huge tip for you would be next door. Check it out. Really check out Manoj, and then we'll go to Kathy.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with our colleagues here. I think the focus is going to be on community groups, whether that's WhatsApp groups, community pages on Facebook and things. We've got a local community group that we set up years ago on Facebook for Warrington, property to let to buy type page. There's over 5,000 members in that group, and they're always pushing messages back and forth between each other as well about properties that are available, people looking, people selling, and that sort of stuff. And then obviously we put our stuff out there. So the community-based way of getting properties off is where it's going to go in the future. I think the portals days are numbered.
I mean, interestingly, one thing which I was very impressed what you guys did, here's a tip for you all, but don't tell anyone else in the UK. But what Manoj and Tesh do is they go onto Gumtree, scrape the properties that are on Gumtree, list them on their Facebook page.
On that community Facebook page, not our page.
Yes, on the community, the Warrington landlord tenant renting group. And then what they then do is send a text message. Again, don't tell anyone this. This is our secret just between the 8 of us. Or 9 of us, sorry, 8 agents. What they then do is text the landlord to say, I've put your property on the market on this Facebook group. They then keep an eye on it on Gumtree, and when the property lets, they then send another text message saying, we've had shed loads of people looking at your property, and so I'm glad that you've got it away. And then what happens is the landlords go, oh my God, Manoj and Tesh have really helped me. And then you start sending them your articles about the Warrington property market, and then build up trust. And this is unbelievable. Tesh told me a story that they got 70 properties from just basically doing that over a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because what you find is self-managed landlords are considered gods with baby landlords, and the baby landlord goes to the self-managed landlord. Oh, who do you use? And you say, well, go and see Manoj, because they know what they're doing. Because what you've done is you've helped that landlord. Big tip.
And we get them on our mailing list. That's the main thing. Is the initial thing. We get them on our mailing list, and that's it. Then they're in our funnel, and they get drip-fed articles and news and information, and they don't get mithered. And eventually they'll call us in. And they'll ring in and ask specifically about us taking over their property.
Okay, we'll go to Kathy next, and then Sammy, and then we've got these guys at the bottom to sort out as well. So we've got to have them have a word. Kathy, anything to add?
I definitely agree. It's the whole social media side of things is the way forward. I just use Zoopla, and to be honest with you, I use my own Facebook page, but I get a lot of my business actually I do a lot of business networking. I'm a member of a really, really good, I don't know if I should say it on here, BNI chapter, and I get shitloads actually pushed towards me that way. A lot of the members, they are all on different kinds of local WhatsApp groups, local areas, local properties, and I get a lot of people coming my way actually through that. So
people business.
Absolutely. I was going to say the vast majority of my work is actually given to me via referrals.
Okay, Sammy, anything to add on before we go down to SA?
Yeah, I want to ask Manoj. You say you scrape the listing off Gumtree. Do you just get the link, copy the link, put the link into your Facebook group, and then just leave it, or do you actually take every photo off and drop them all on?
We do just take the link and cut and paste the description. And the landlord's personal contact details. So we cut and paste that, and what we do is we then message the landlord with a link to the Facebook group, showing him his property there.
Yeah.
And then we say to him, if you've got some decent quality pictures, send them over. We'll add them to that post. We start to engage. We get an email from him with the pictures, and we're engaging. And we just leave it then. We say, and leave it with him. He monitors that post himself, and we've got him on our mailing list, and we've got a conversation started.
Do you let other agents in Harborne do that as well? Do you let other agents in your area put their properties on your group?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's completely with other agents and private landlords and whatever. Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to police it to that level, but we keep it focused just on properties for sale or for rent or wanted. So we do moderate the group. So we moderate all the incoming posts.
Remember, you're not asking permission. You're just basically saying, this is what I've done for you. And here's a link to Facebook. And they think the sun shines out your backside. It's absolutely fantastic. Just needs a bit of time and effort. SA, come to me. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm Ben from Swansea.
Yeah.
We are called SA Property. We're a mixture of sales and rentals. Probably about a 60-40 split for sales. And we left Rightmove about 18 months ago.
Great, because so far we've been very heavy on the letting side. Talk to me about losing Rightmove on the sales side, particularly. Okay,
so when we first started, which we're in our 7th year now, we were just with Rightmove. Then we joined Zoopla, and then eventually we joined on the market as well. So we were with all three. What we were seeing was the number of leads were similar across all three, but more interestingly, the quality of leads from Rightmove were becoming poorer and poorer. So we then looked at where the sales were coming from, and the lettings, and we discovered that most of our stuff, and still today, is coming from a referral, repeat and referral system. So again, kind of agree with what some of the guys are saying here. There's almost, coming to a point where there's no need for the portal usage for us, because all of our stuff is from referral. Facebook. We also have a community page with a couple of thousand people on there that passing leads back and forward to each other. So a lot of our current leads are coming from those places. But the main one for us is referral. So when we did leave Rightmove, we saw zero difference at all. Absolutely.
So basically, are other agents using it against you when you're out on the free val for listing?
Yes.
Sale?
Yeah, they had. So we had to think quickly and work a bit smart as to how we'd get around that. So what we looked at was we started off with numbers, the number of instructions that we were getting versus the number of sales, to show that it was making no effect. But I think the main thing for us was to say to people that the people, if you've got the right house, almost they would come to you, and if it's put in the right places, in front of the right people, they would come to us. Were
you scared dropping Rightmove?
Very.
And what your competition would do?
Very scared, yeah, to start with. It took a lot of deliberation, a lot of thinking about, but as everyone else is saying, the costs were increasing to ridiculous amounts, and what we were getting in return for that was not, it just didn't warrant it. So yeah, it was a scary prospect, but it just proved that it was worthwhile doing. We're now saving ourselves £2,400 a month, which we've been able to then spend elsewhere. We've got an additional member of staff who can focus on phoning people up, Facebook posts, all these different things that, you whack a property on Rightmove, you pay them a bit for additional advertising. It just isn't business sense. It is not business sense at all.
Let's leave the best to the end. Leighton, where are you from? Talk to me a bit about your agency in the sales or lettings mix.
I don't know about leaving the best till the end, but I'm from Neath in South Wales, just around the corner from you.
Yes.
I live in Calgary, Alberta in Canada, and I run the agency in Neath. We are 66-33 letted sales. We manage around about 250. We've been with Rightmove since day one, 14 years ago, when we were originally all sales, no lettings. And when the arse fell out of the market, sort of 2008, we got into lettings because we wouldn't have had a business otherwise. We gave Rightmove notice a week ago, because it's just not value. It's a pointless artifact. The world has changed, as Chris said. People, the eyeballs are on Facebook, and that's where we're moving to. Facebook is free. It's where the people are. I think Rightmove is old-fashioned. We're with Zoopla and on the market because they're cheap. We're only paying Zoopla $275 a month, and on the market $100. And we'll stick with them for the meantime. But I've always been of the view that we don't need portals. Properties sold before portals existed, and if portals disappeared tomorrow, properties will still sell. If you've got the right property on at the right price and it's presented properly, it'll sell. You don't need Rightmove.
It's interesting. I had someone who couldn't be on the call today, a lady called Ellie Phillott. I hope I pronounced her name. And she said that her Rightmove rep contacted me to discuss what the plans were in readiness for the fee ban. And she threw the question back at him, what are Rightmove going to do to help? And his exact answer was, we're Rightmove, we're doing nothing. And I gave notice on that phone call. The rep said, if I left, They would put the price up significantly when I came back, and she's still not back yet. She's just on the market with On the Market, and she manages 150 properties in a small town, and she's had 2 landlords queried, but when you actually listen to her, they've not lost at all. A big criticism of the local account managers is that you have this 25-year-old coming in to tell you how to run your business. Let's just talk about what else could you want from your local account manager over and above what they basically ring you up and tell you that the price is going up. Right, let's start with Sammy and then we'll go down to Ben.
So I was thinking about this today, actually. Imagine if a lot of us have been with Rightmove for a long time. Imagine if every year they bought you some tickets to the football or the rugby or the cricket or the tennis and just did some real account management for you and made you feel like you were worth something. Every time I've called Rightmove to like discuss my package and reduce it, they're like, no, you should actually spend more to get more. And they just bully you. About 12 months ago, maybe 18 months, I dropped all the extras, like all of them, valuation alerts and all those extra things, and made absolutely no difference at all. They're just bullies. The way they talk to you, they just tell you, like what you said, they're 25, they're young, they don't really know business, but they've been given this spiel of how to communicate with these like agent owners, and they haven't got a clue. And I don't think they treat their customers properly. And like yesterday proved it. If everyone sticks to their guns, they could go. And I hope they do.
Okay, let's go to Ben, and then we'll go to James afterwards. Ben.
Yeah. So when we first started with Rightmove, we had an account manager that we just didn't see. He never came. Then when we complained and said we're paying all this money and we're not getting the account managed. Eventually, they told us that we were too far away. And what they then did was they said that they would manage us online and phone us once a month, and that never happened. So part of the additional reason that we left was there was literally zero support, nothing. And as you guys have said, all that you get is a phone call and say, oh, by the way, you can have a valuation alert, or you can have this, or you can have that. Just more and more money with zero support from them for us.
James?
I never had a problem with the Rightmove rep as such. He was actually, he was a nice guy. I mean, I just made it clear at the beginning, look, I just want the basic package. I'm not paying for any extras. I don't really want to even be on your website, but I have to be. That was my attitude at the time. And after that, it's kind of like, they'd leave you alone. The problem I had wasn't so much with the rep, but this is the reason why I left. I had a run-in with, it was a bit like the call centre account management, not the guy who'd walk into the office. The reason I kicked off with them, it initially started, well, there were several things, but it initially started, I had, we'd taken on a property, for whatever reason, we didn't have a picture of it. I uploaded a picture of our tellet board. They kicked off at us and said, no, you can't just have that logo. If you're having, if you would have your logo featured, some whatever it is, you have to pay extra per month, and your package doesn't entitle you to do that. I was like, what? It's just a coming soon picture. It's a picture of the tellet board. Yes, but you can't have that. I was like, for God's sake. And they said, however you change it, it will call listing. I was like, right, okay. So when we got photos, I retaliated. I used to have a Land Rover, all branded up, Fielding Property Management of it. Very, very distinctive Defender. Parked it, wham, straight outside the front. I've seen other agents do it. Took photos of it, close up of a Land Rover, a little bit of a house, this for 3-bed semi or whatever it was available to rent. They didn't like that. They really didn't like that at all. So then redid it again, took a picture of the property, but literally the board right in the foreground of it, and then you could see the property behind it. Didn't like that either. In the end, I gave up, did it properly, because again, they're threatening to pull all the listings. But yeah, last straw was I wrote a property description in my usual flowery style. They phoned up and I think it was a property we'd taken on, and it was it had been self-managed for 10 years, and the guy had done nothing to it. And I was like, you can't let it like this. It's an absolute shithole. And it was horrible. There were crackheads in it, everything. And I mentioned this in the advert. Do not be fooled by a trim exterior. All is not well with the inside. Decor hangs inelegantly from the walls. formerly housing free crackheads who we understand have now left, and this is now undergoing extensive refurbishment. Form an orderly queue, but you're just going to have to trust us. It'll look nice when it's finished. So Rightmove phone up and they're like, "Oh, we think you've been hacked." I was like, "No, I've not been hacked." They said, "Well, you have kind of willfully written this as a property description." I go, "Yeah, I have, and I've had the fucking phone ringing off the hook. It's a brilliant property description." "Oh, we don't think you can have it. We might need to change it because people are complaining." I was like, "Who's complaining? Tell me who's complaining. We want you to rewrite it." I said, "Why?" Yes, it's truthful. I said, "It formerly housed crackheads. It's a shithole, and that's how much it's up for rent for, and it's in Daventry. Where am I telling a lie here?" And so we left it. Anyway, they fucking took it off. I was not happy. Of course, the landlord phones up because my property's off Rightmove. He thought the whole thing was really funny. And I obviously kicked off about it. The fact I'd already let it didn't matter. It was the fact that they decided they were going to pull it. And I was like, "Do you know what? If that's what you're going to do, that's fuck off." You know? So that was it. Left. Went to Zoopla. Zoopla said, "You can't do this, that, and the other." I was like, "Okay, fine. I've done it anyway." And they don't really seem that bothered. So, you know, but yeah, that was sort of how I felt out with Rightmove. But that wasn't the individual rep, but that was their call centre operation down in Milton Keynes. Pricks.
Leighton.
Yeah, so talking about reps, the best rep we ever had, and we had him for years, he would come in twice a year, but by and large, he would leave us alone. So he'd come in twice a year, mostly unannounced, just because he was in the area. We'd have a chat about rugby and sport and one thing or another. And I would tell him straight, "Don't put our fees up, we're not interested." He said, yeah, I know, don't worry, yeah. And then he'd leave, and then we wouldn't hear from him again. And it was a great relationship. It worked really well. You know, we didn't need him. He did. And so that worked really well. He left, unfortunately, and was replaced by a shiny guy about 6 months ago. And the first thing the shiny guy did was come in, sell all the upgrades, and you know, you need to have this, you need to have that, and if you don't take it, then we're going to put the price up, and yada 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 yada. And that was the moment we decided we were going to leave. It was the rep that was the final nail in the coffin for us.
Lee, you put your hand up.
Yeah, I think the shiny guy used to manage our accounts as well. Actually, I think we've all had him. Yeah, they come along. Not of late. Probably the last 3 or 4 years, we didn't see anybody. It was sort of a phone relationship. But when they did come, they'd say, "We're putting your basic price up, but you can actually get better value by paying more money." And that just doesn't work. I think they've got to the point where the announcements the last couple of days, and looking at their share price and their obscene gross margin, that they've lost the plot. And it's as though, when I was talking to the account manager that rang us to try and get us back, they make you feel like you need them more than they need you. And I think that's a, you know, the minute we start to look at that in our own businesses, it's game over. You know, if we think we're better than our landlords and our tenants, we've had it. You know, and they're on that trajectory. And I think you're right about the Zoopla. It might become, you know, that process. I have a saying in our business, and we've, because our business is so large, you create this monster, and you've got to keep feeding it. And the minute you stop feeding it, it's dead. And I think that's where Rightmove have got to, and I think that's where Zoopla have got to be very careful, because if they do adopt the same principles, I think the portal will die a death. And I'm encouraged by your Facebook and your social media guys, because that's something that we've just looked at around the edges and not really taken a leap into that. But I'm going to certainly look at that based on the back of a conversation today.
Okay, so Sammy is Mex Properties, and Manoj is Hamlet in Warrington. Do you think that putting aside the cost, because I personally believe Rightmove is still very good value for money. There you go, Mex Property. Great videos, by the way. Do you think they lack a certain empathy with regard to the industry? And I want you to take, I know empathy is an emotional thing, but please can we be objective with our emotion? And I know that's counterintuitive, but anyone got anything to say on that? Kathy?
I felt that I was dealing with a monolith. I think that's the best way. I'm a small agency. That's why people come. People use me because I am a small agency. And the amount of time the rep would send a phone call for a chat, not bother calling me. I'd call back 15 minutes later. Oh, I was busy dealing with so-and-so's account, big account. The day I gave my notice in, and I had several phone calls, and I can only describe it as a woman. I wish I'd taken a name, actually. I called her the snotty bitch in the end. And I was told on several occasions that I wasn't doing my job properly. I wasn't converting my leads properly. So why was I leaving? If I stayed at Rightmove, I need to spend a little bit more money and have all this package, that package. In the end, I just basically the phone would ring. I'd see it was them, and I wouldn't answer it. It went straight to answer phone.
I mean, interestingly, there was a survey that, and this has been done by, the Best Agent Guide did the survey in the last few years, and over 50% of leads weren't rang back. So surely the value of Rightmove is the value of the agents not doing their part, not ringing the leads back. 52% were not rang back. Surely the issue there is with agents. Anyone?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can you hear me?
Go for it.
Yeah, that 50% stat, like, I have no idea. We are nowhere near that. We literally get every single lead, and we will call them consistently in the day, and we'll email them. Like, that must be the big guys who are employing monkeys, who have no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know how any small independent would ever let a lead go anywhere or even lose it. It's 50%.
You'd never survive.
50%. It's ridiculous. But obviously, I reckon, like, I view houses to buy and and obviously the big boys don't get back to you. But I reckon us guys here, the independents, we're definitely on it.
Okay. Ben, you put your hand up, then we'll go to Maria, and then we'll go to
we in the final sort of stages of us choosing to leave Rightmove, we started to look at the quality of leads and amongst the three portals. One thing that we were very surprised at was the amount of leads that were coming from Rightmove that had incomplete email, incomplete telephone numbers, even to the point where some of the messages that were coming from Rightmove or from the potential applicant were word for word identical to someone else's. So we questioned Rightmove about this because we were a little bit suspicious that they may have been sending us emails or leads to keep their numbers up, which obviously they denied. But we gave them, I think it was 3 emails in the space of about 4 months that were literally word for word identical. But we couldn't get hold of this person because the telephone number was incorrect or the email was incorrect. So I have a sneaking suspicion that 52% figure is definitely incorrect.
Obviously, that's alleged. We have to be careful what we say.
Allegedly.
Maria.
I concur with Sammy on this one. I funnel all of my leads through one member of staff. Each lady here has their own job, and we funnel those through one member of staff, and part of their KPIs, etc., are following through those leads. So I will log in periodically and ensure that they have all been followed up. I can easily check that through our system as to whether they've been qualified correctly or not. And yeah, we were ringing back 100%. I concur with Ben on the fact that sometimes they were very suspicious leads. If someone's interested in a house, they're interested in a house. Why on earth would they fill in something online about something they're not interested in? It's just not going to happen. So the fact that on many an occasion with Rightmove, you would find yourself trying to call somebody back on many, many occasions and get nowhere with that lead is highly suspicious to me. You don't seem to have the same problem with Zoopla leads or on the market leads, because even if you can't get hold of them at the time, if you leave a message, they will ring you back.
Okay, so as I said, that's strictly your personal opinion. And Kathy?
I'm quite shocked at 52%. I mean, I definitely do agree with you. You know, the independents will jump on it. This is my bread and butter, well, not my bread and butter, but obviously I earn money from this. Why am I going to ignore a lead, whether it's a landlord or whether it's a tenant? And I'll be brutally honest with you, I've never had a landlord lead in a nearly 30-year career. Obviously was with Rightmove from day one with an old business. I've never had a Rightmove lead from Rightmove, landlord lead at all. Yes, I had 2 in December and got the business.
Do you think the portal should be there to attract landlord and homeowner leads? For, you know,
they don't. Honestly, they don't.
But why do estate agents see it as a way to funnel business into their business? Why?
They sell it that way.
They sell it that way. Anyone else, James?
I think landlords use Rightmove as directory. I mean, I Rightmove's on the market. I've never had. In the last 5 years, I don't think I've had a landlord lead on any of them. But I think landlords will look at Rightmove to work out where agents are in a town, and then they'll do their own independent research. We've had a lot of business. A lot of landlords come in, people who found us independently. Obviously, you qualify. Where did you get our details from? And it's told, we looked you up on all agents, which we use, which is a review site. We've got fantastic reviews on there. And people, I think, they will use Rightmove or whatever portal to find out what agents operate in a town. Then it seems to me that they'll then independently Google them and do their research, read the reviews. But going back to what you said about 52% of the leads not being qualified, yeah, that's absolute balls. Sorry, not being called. That's it can't be true. The ones we willfully do not call are the ones which look like spam and you know, scams, and scammers emailing you about stuff. And the ones where you've got people who said, you know, it's like a studio flat, 2nd floor. Oh, hello, I've got 4 well-behaved Rottweilers. Can I move in? No, if you can't read the advert, you're too fucking stupid. We don't want to rent to you. Go away. Yeah. But you think, I've got staff who are paid commission. My staff are paid really well in commission. There is no way when you can earn X amount of money for letting a property, and I forward you a lead, this person has inquired about it. There is no way my staff are not going to pick the phone up. You know, unless we know that they're a local crackhead, there's no way we're not going to ring them to find out more and get them around to view. It just doesn't make sense. Anyone commission does the same.
Sammy next, and then Leighton.
Yeah, so I was on the waiting list from the Rightmove valuation alert for a long time, and eventually got down to it, won it, got the had it for about 6 months, and I genuinely think they were sending fake valuation alerts, like the
Allegedly.
Yeah, sorry.
Allegedly, we have to.
They were allegedly sending, in my head, I thought they were fake, but allegedly anyway. But I quickly got rid of those as well, because I was like, literally every single one of them would amount to nothing. I would call them, chase them. When I got one of those, I was buzzing. I was like, I'm going to get another sale here. Okay. And literally not one came.
Okay, I will defend Rightmove here and basically say I was talking to one of their directors a couple of years ago, and they said that they because obviously the address comes through, they do tend to come on the market, but they tend to come on the market 6 to 9 months later, and estate agents aren't very good at playing the long game.
True, yeah. Yeah, no, I understand what they're saying, but if the people don't answer their phone and reply to an email, and they go into our blog, our email nurture, that's probably not the best, but they, you know, I left that 18 months ago. I left the evaluation alert thing. So, but yeah, we probably aren't the best at nurturing the.
No, we're not. We're appalling. Yeah. Interestingly, I was talking to the head guy of Cornwall, and he said that when the valuation alert came through, I think only 27% were rang in the first hour. After that, amazing, isn't it? Leighton.
Yeah, 2 points really. I mean, there would only be 2 occasions where we wouldn't bring a lead back. If it was clearly a nonsense lead, like as you said, if it was a 4-bedroom house and the tenant had 5 dogs and you know, there was just no way we wouldn't bring back. Or if we'd let a property and we were absolutely swamped with leads, we may make a decision to just to not ring them back because we just didn't have time. You know, if it had already been done. But the comment about landlords doing their research, if you're a sales agent and you've got 1,000 houses on the market, you're going to be all over Rightmove. If you're a lettings agent and you've got 1,000 properties and they're all let, you're not going to have any presence on Rightmove because you're not going to have anything advertised. So you're going to be invisible on Rightmove to the landlord doing the research. But if you're on Facebook, everything you've put on there is still on there.
Okay.
Sure.
Anyone else got anything to say? Lee?
Yeah, that's right, Leighton. We typically we have between 25 and 40 properties available, and we have landlords say to us, "You're not on Rightmove," and we say no, because we let them anyway. No matter who we're on, whether we're on Zoopla or on the market. Most of our landlord leads come, like a lot of other people's, they come by recommendation. And to be fair, you don't have to do a lot of work for that. And we're probably taking on between 5 and 10 properties a month, new properties. You get a few fall out the bottom of the bucket, it happens. Landlords sell. But on the whole, I don't see our sort of farming of landlords is on the portals. It's never happened. And for a fact, if your landlord rings you and says, "Oh, Joe Bloggs has recommended you," unless you do something absolutely stupid, you've won them, because somebody else has already told them you're successful at what you do, and they're going to use you. So they're the best sort of process of getting landlords that we get. So I said some of the calls that we would probably get from Rightmove and the other portals for landlords, the guys know it all, and they just want something for nothing most of the time.
Anyone else got anything to say? No? Interestingly, in Australia, realestate.com was the Rightmove equivalent. Now, this will scare you. This will really scare you. The average cost per office of realestate.com is £17,400 per month per office. And yeah, that's scary, isn't it? And I know there's a lot of vendor paid advertising, but there's a lot of no sale, no fee as well. So, and what they did 3 years ago is they decided, because everyone had a lot of disdain for realestate.com, they decided to give away the best training in the world in Australia as a part of their free membership. So much so that what's happened now is that they're considered the best trainers by a country mile. And there's a begrudging love because they know they get something in return. It's like what someone said. I think it was, I don't know if it was Leighton or Ben, it'd be nice if they could take you, or it might have been Sammy, take you out to the races or something. Because I know they do take, Anyway, anyone else got anything to say about that? Sammy?
What's the average fee in Australia? If they're paying $17,000 a month, the fees must be astronomical for selling a house.
I believe it's 6 or 7 grand, somewhere around there. That's off the top of my head.
Wow.
Because they pay more. Isn't it interesting that in Australia, we are very, and again, we've got some really interesting people on this thing, it's more about the person and not the company name. It's about getting your name out there, personal branding. I hate that word, but it's reputation. All of you have built brands because of you and not because of a logo across the door.
Mm.
Isn't it?
Same here.
Yeah. People buy from people. I tell you here and now, the power of video is and if I know some of you are doing it and some of you need to do it, and anyone watching it, if you're not, you're going to be left behind. Power of video is sublime. I tell you what we'll do is sorry, Leighton, kick in. Go on.
Good. There's a lady on Facebook. I think she's either Australian or US. I think she's Australian. Lisa Novak. Have you heard of her?
I do. I know her well.
She's like one of the top 5% of the agents, and she's primarily video on Facebook.
Yeah.
And she makes a point of saying, "Don't look for this property on the portals. You won't find it. This is only here on Facebook."
She puts it on. She puts it on the portals for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
By creating you'll only get it here if you contact me. She's built a huge following, and she is beaten off with shitty sticks. Pardon the phrase.
Yeah.
We need to
on the video front. Is that videos about the local area and your opinion of that, or is that building a profile that way, or just general property viewing videos?
Both. I think the magic thing is, when it comes to video, is that you've got to ask yourself, what's your motivation of doing the video? And the big question, the first question is who you're doing the video for. So that's people in your locality. But the real big one is, are you doing it? What's your intent? Are you doing it to try and get something or give something? Now, in this world, if all you try and do is try and get, people will smell up, you know. So look at what Manoj is doing and look at what Sammy's doing. They are doing videos of their properties and putting them onto social media, which is quite clearly a get video, isn't it? They're trying to get someone to buy it or rent it. Yet at the same time, they are also producing video and written content about their town's property market and what's happening in the locality, which is valuable. So as Manoj says, there's an article about Warrington, there's an article about what's happening to Warrington rents and house prices. It's valuable and interesting. And then there's a property. Give, ask. That's how it works in this world.
Okay. We've just started, because of the virus and social distancing and viewings and all those kind of things, I have an underlying medical condition, so meeting people is a little bit more difficult at this present moment in time. We started this week just doing video walk rounds, quick and dirty, horrible things actually on iPhone, and we actually let our first property yesterday just from a video walk round, which I was staggered. I was amazed that you would get that just from that. So I think it's got power, but I think it's how you're right. It's the give, and then the dropping the wanting. That's the.
I mean, look at what I do. You'll never see me hardly talk about the services I provide for agents. I provide value that attracts people to me. I mean, you know, unbeknown to, you know, how I earn my money is I write articles about the town's property market and then give it to agents to put it, you know, if you think Sammy or Manoj has got time to write articles about the Warrington or Harborne property market, no, they haven't got half a day to write that. That's what they pay me to do, but you never see me talk about it. And that's what we do as agents.
Right.
We're very guilty of trying to tell people what we do and how wonderful we are, just like someone at a party talks about themselves all night, when in reality what you should be doing is talking about their problems and what their passions and interests are, and then you'll attract people to you, won't you? Interestingly, I know there's some people here, and I won't embarrass them too much, but we've got the fear of doing video. But you've just got to put your big girl's pants on, your big pants on, and get it out there. Sammy?
Yeah, obviously the video thing, we started doing that about a year ago, and when we get vendors or landlords, we ask them where they've seen us, and a lot of the time they've seen us on Facebook, community pages, local. We've got quite a few groups, quite a few pages that some of them are unbranded, and people just see us, and we just pump the videos out all day. Right now I'm doing like a video blog of coronavirus, day 1, day 2, day 3, just talking about my problems and what I'm worried about, and people are loving it. It's crazy. People are calling me from all around the country, asking me for advice on how to get out of their tenancy, or what to do to find a house. It's crazy, but you're building a reputation of yourself. And I got stopped in the high street the other day, and they're like, "Oh, I see your videos." It's nice when that happens, because you know eventually you'll become the guy that no one can beat, because everyone knows Sammy sells and rents houses, and that's it. And once that's happened, which this Corona thing could do this, by the way, because if I keep doing this, staying in touch, eventually no one else will be able to get past me, and that's what I'm trying to build. Who knows? It could be 2 months, could be 2 years, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to carry on going. And Chris helped me get there, by the way.
Talking about the local property tours, I've just put a video out a couple of days ago on how to do property tours as an agent using a mobile phone, and actually how to edit on the phone. And then in a couple of days' time, I'm actually doing a full-on one that you can give, and I'll give this to the industry, on teaching vendors how to do property tours. So when you can't do it, they can do it. And
I watched that one. It was good.
Thank you. And then also, me and Chris England and Matt Lee do a video training course, but there's no way people are to grant them on a video training course. So we've actually put it all online. That'll be coming out mid next week. Oh, whose dog's that?
Mine, I think.
That's him. Okay. I mean, I think the magic thing is this: whilst we're at home, we need to empower ourselves to make a difference. And what we do during these couple of months, what will people remember about us after it's all done. And I think the magic of power of video, of giving, is certainly a winner. Let's bring it back to Rightmove, and let's see it, because it's Saturday afternoon and the football's on. Not. Let's start with James, and then we'll go to Sammy, and then we'll go all the way around. What one thing would you say to agents who are scared of potentially leaving Rightmove? And please be objective.
Don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. The world won't end. You're still going to let houses. You're still going to sell houses. People still want to move. If you've got the property, people will find you. They charge a huge amount of money, provide a piss poor service, don't really care if you live or die. And if your business is that unwelcome and you're being charged such a huge amount of money for the privilege of it, walk away. Walk away. You know, it's one of the best things we ever did. And I don't like anyone ever thinking they've got any form of hold over me. And that's what Rightmove did. I don't like being told how to run my business. And I don't like having to give people money to people who obviously don't even care. So I feel happy having done it. And as my business and that was what, 3.5 years ago? And my business has consistently grown year upon year upon year with sort of, I'd say, between 15 to 22%. We did 22% last financial year of net growth since we did that. And that's without Rightmove. Who cares?
Sammy?
So I think, obviously not you guys here, but I think a lot of agents are just sheep and they just follow the crowd. They just do what everyone else does, and they're just scared to jump off that wagon and be the first person in the area to get off Rightmove. I used the cost to get off Rightmove, but also the way they control you. They don't really help you at all. That's one of my reasons. But you've got to stand out. You've got to stand your ground, jump off, and the world does not end. Like James said, nothing changes. You can still rent, you can still sell, and you know, I'm actually going to have no portals on the market, but it doesn't count. I'll have no portals as of the end of this month, and I'm obviously not doing viewings, but I'm pretty sure as soon as we're back at work, I'll still be shifting stock, concentrating on Facebook and social media and the groups and the pages and that Gumtree thing. But yeah, don't be scared. Don't be a sheep.
Kathy, your final words. Kathy, Manoj.
There we go. Yeah, my final words to the agents that are thinking of ditching Rightmove is do it. You need to do it sooner or later anyway. The portals, there was life before the portals and there will be life after the portals. You need to adjust to the new life anyway. And we're too heavily reliant on the portals. If you can't do business without portals, then actually maybe you shouldn't be in the business.
Okay. Maria?
They are what they are. At the end of the day, whoever we leave to be strongest at any moment in time is going to take advantage of the situation. It's a do or die. So we have to take this under control whilst we still can. And we've had great results with Facebook as well as everybody else here has. We partnered with Paul Long to run some of our Facebook as well as taking it in-house and doing some as well. And as of the beginning of this year, we are seeing massive results from that. So I think, it's important that we all continue down that line and we don't make any one portal our portal of choice moving forward. I'd hope Zoopla would learn from what's happened to Rightmove here. I'm not that optimistic, unfortunately. So it's up to us to take it into our control at this point.
Just shows the power of the mob, and hopefully, whatever decision people have to make their own decision. I'm not saying anything. I'm not sitting. I'm here just to interview you guys and find out your opinions. I'll be absolutely straight with you. I'm going to be having the same conversations with agents who have ditched everything else and staying with Rightmove. I think that's only fair. You've got to make your own decision. Manoj, what would your final thing say?
As I said, Chris, to other agencies, there's no fear of moving off from Rightmove, and there are, you've got to prepare for your business to enter into the social media world. Embrace all the technologies there, as well as the portals. But one by one, surely you can remove yourself from the portals then.
And definitely, Paul Long's Facebook group is amazing. Also, check out Tesh Patel. He chucks out so much value as well, which is Manoj's son. Ben, what would your final words be to the agents of UK watching this?
I would say leave and invest that money elsewhere, and you'd be surprised with the results. I don't think Rightmove, when Rightmove first started, they were the big thing, and I don't think they are anymore. So yeah, invest your money elsewhere and see what happens.
Kathy. Oh, unmute, hold on.
Yeah, apologies. Virgin Broadband decided it was going to dive on me. So anyhow, just piggybacked off my hotspot on my phone. If you're going to do it, feel the fear, do it anyway. I did it. I haven't looked back. I was doing the figures earlier on in preparation for this meeting, and since April last year, turnover was at 50%. I make a profit anyway because obviously I don't have the overheads like you guys do. So obviously Zoopla is probably my biggest expense, and it's all kind of like, it's good money really. But yeah, recommend they do it. Don't worry about it. If you've got a client who actually only wants to instruct you because you're using Rightmove, they're not the right client for you. You're not a good mix, so it's never going to work. So I'd say just next, move on.
Second to last, Lee, what would you say to any agents?
Yeah, really just echo what everybody else has said. I think everybody's taken the plunge, not looked back. Our businesses will change and evolve over the coming years and months, as they have in the past. You know, we've got rid of newspapers, we'll probably get rid of portals, we'll move on to something else, and the strongest and the ones that adapt will survive. So, you know, take that leap of faith, because it's only a little step, actually, it's not a leap. So I would say just get on with it and do it. You know, see what's out the other side, because it's pretty good from this side, having an extra grand in your pocket each month.
Finally, Leighton.
Yeah, I think people just need to have confidence in their abilities. I mean, none of us got into this business because we wanted to give money to Rightmove. We got into this business because we wanted to sell and let houses, and just do what you feel is right, and you know, drop Rightmove, which is because you're totally beholden to a supplier, which is bizarre in any industry, let alone property. And take a percentage of that spend it in other avenues, and I think you'll be very surprised and pleased at the results, and then you'll be fed up that you didn't do it years ago.
Thank you for your time today, everyone. We'll finish this conversation now. You've got everyone's names, so I'm sure all of you will be more than happy if any agents want to pick the phone up. I hope it's been objective. I hope you've enjoyed it. And just for the record, I'm not recommending anybody do anything. You have to make your own choice. We're all big boys and girls, and we have to make our own decisions. I think one thing I've learned is this. I think the best thing, and let's be honest, we're all going to have a lot of time on our hands coming up soon, is why don't you actually physically, instead of letting your emotions run your heads, why don't you actually go, and I don't know if everyone agrees with this, why don't you physically go back through all your last 12, 18 months worth of lets and see exactly where that lead came from, and then make a decision. So I'm talking to some people next week where Rightmove just blows everything out the water. And I think you have to make the right decision for the right business, for your business, in the right location, different locations, different portals. Would that be fair, guys? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we'll leave it at that. Wave to the camera and like this, and we'll say goodbye to everyone. And thank you for your time. Thank you.